Sarah Mitchell sat alone in the corner booth of the Morning Brew Cafe, her perfectly manicured nails drumming against a marble table. At 53, she had built an empire in commercial real estate, but her personal life remained empty. Her assistant had arranged another blind date, the fifth one this month. She glanced at her diamond watch. He was late. Sarah had tried everything to find genuine connection. Luxury restaurants, exclusive clubs, professional matchmakers. But every man who learned she was a CEO either wanted her money or felt threatened by her success. So today, she'd done something different. She'd told her date she was just a receptionist struggling to make ends meet. The cafe door chimed. A man walked in mid-50s, wearing a faded jacket that had seen better days. His hair was graying at the temples, and there were kind lines around his eyes. He looked around nervously, clutching a small paper bag. Tom Henderson spotted the woman from a photo his friend had shown him. Even in simple clothes, she had an elegant air about her. He walked over, his work boots squeaking slightly on the polished floor. "Sarah?" he asked, his voice warm but uncertain. She nodded, studying him carefully. Tom sat down, placing the paper bag on the table. "I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. My daughter Emma needed help with her college application before I left." "You have children?" Sarah asked. "Just Emma. She's 19. Her mother passed away 6 years ago." Tom's voice carried a quiet sadness. "It's been just the two of us since then." Sarah felt something shift in her chest. "I'm sorry for your loss." "Thank you." Tom opened the paper bag and pulled out 2 homemade muffins wrapped in napkins. I baked these this morning. Blueberry. I wasn't sure if you'd eaten breakfast." Sarah stared at the humble offering. In her world of catered business lunches and 5-star dinners, no one had ever baked her a muffin. "You bake?" she asked softly. Tom smiled, a bit embarrassed. "Emma and I started after her mom died. It helped us cope, I guess. Gave us something to do together in the evenings." As they talked, Sarah learned that Tom worked 2 jobs, one at a hardware store during the day and another doing maintenance work in the evenings. Everything he earned went toward Emma's education and their modest apartment. "What about you?" Tom asked. "My friend said you work in an office?" Sarah hesitated. "Yes, administrative work. Nothing special." "I bet you're good at it," Tom said, breaking his muffin in half. "You seem like someone who pays attention to details." Over the next hour, they talked about everything. Tom shared stories about Emma's achievements, his voice filled with fatherly pride. He spoke about the small vegetable garden he kept on their apartment balcony and the classic movies he and Emma watched together on Friday nights. Sarah found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in years. Tom didn't try to impress her. He didn't name drop or talk about his ambitions. He simply listened when she spoke and shared his life with honest simplicity. "Can I be honest with you?" Tom said, his brown eyes meeting hers. "When my friend suggested this blind date, I almost said no. I haven't dated since my wife died. But he told me that sometimes we have to take chances, even when we're scared." "Why were you scared?" Sarah asked. "Because what if I'm not ready? What if I can't make someone happy anymore?" Tom looked down at his worn hands. "But sitting here with you, I'm glad I came." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. Here was a man who had lost everything, who worked himself to exhaustion for his daughter, and yet he worried about making someone else happy. The other blind dates had arrived in expensive cars, ordered lavish meals, and talked endlessly about their achievements. Not one had asked what Sarah wanted from life. Not one had brought her something made with their own hands. "Tom," she said quietly, "I need to tell you something." He looked at her with concern. "Are you okay?" "I haven't been completely truthful with you." Sarah took a deep breath. "I'm not a receptionist. I'm the CEO of Mitchell Commercial Properties. I own this cafe. I own the building we're sitting in. Tom's expression didn't change to anger or excitement. Instead, he simply looked sad. Why did you lie? He asked gently. Because every time someone knows who I really am, they change. They either want something from me or they feel inadequate around me. I just wanted one person to see me, just Sarah, not Sarah Mitchell, the CEO. Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he reached across the table and took her hand. His palm was calloused from hard work, warm and steady. I understand, he said. After my wife died, people treated me differently too. They saw me as poor Tom, the widower. They pitied me. But I'm not just that. I'm also Emma's dad. I'm someone who loves old jazz music and can fix almost anything. I'm someone who still believes in kindness. Sarah squeezed his hand, tears now flowing freely. I'm so sorry I lied. It's okay, Tom said. We all protect ourselves the way we know how. But here's what I know about you, Sarah. You could have met me anywhere expensive, but you chose this little cafe. You ate my homemade muffin, even though you probably have personal chefs. And you listened to me talk about my daughter like it mattered. That's the real you, isn't it? Sarah nodded, unable to speak. Then that's the person I'd like to know better, Tom said simply. If you'll let me. 3 months later, Sarah stood in Tom and Emma's small apartment kitchen, flour dusting her designer blouse as Tom taught her to make his famous blueberry muffins. Emma sat at the kitchen table, studying for her exams, occasionally looking up to smile at her father's happiness. Sarah had offered to help with Emma's college expenses, to set Tom up in a better job at one of her properties. But Tom had gently refused. Let me earn my way, he'd said. But maybe someday when Emma graduates, you and I could think about building something together. Not your empire and my labor. Just two people who care about each other, making a life. And Sarah, who had built towers of steel and glass, who had commanded boardrooms full of powerful men, had found something more valuable than all her success. She had found someone who saw her heart. As they took the muffins out of the oven, Tom pulled her close. Thank you, he whispered. For what? Sarah asked. For taking a chance on the poor single dad. For seeing past what I have to who I am. Sarah smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. Thank you for teaching me that the richest thing in life isn't what we own but who we love. Outside the window, the city lights twinkled like stars. And in that small kitchen, filled with the warmth of baking and the promise of tomorrow, 2 lonely hearts had finally found their way home. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of hope and human connection. Leave a comment below about a time when kindness changed your life. Your story might inspire our next video. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.